Welcome to Mystic Realms Recap. Please like, share, and subscribe. Enjoy today's episode.
Taking advantage of the chat between the few people, Meng Xing Yahui interjected, "Everyone, the handover of the defense line will take a lot of time. Shall we start now?" "Okay." Everyone agreed. "Then who will go first?" "I'll go first," Cassandela Worley said. "Meng Ze, please send me a copy of your next star field layout on my side. After I confirm it, let our brains start docking and confirm the order of handover." After finishing speaking, Cassandela Worley watched Dream Starry Night channel. "There should be no problems with the cooperation of the cloud platform. Please rest assured that a dedicated channel has been opened, and there will be no problems," Fantasy Star Yahui said solemnly. Turning his head to look at Meng Ze again, Meng Ze nodded and said, "I will send you the star maps for the 3 big bosses areas next, so that you cannot be confused for a moment. Big boss and killer, boss. Take a look first." After speaking, Meng Ze arranged for Ji now to send the corresponding star map. The 6th level bosses have been dealing with star maps all year round, and they process information very quickly. More than 10 minutes later, Cassandela Worley raised a question. "Meng Ze, I found that the distance between your planets is a bit wrong. Is it an omission in the design, or the star quality is relatively high?" "Hey, Boss Cassandela Worley, I picked these planets a little bit." Meng Ze laughed. Cassandela Worley didn't say anything, just made a gesture similar to "you are awesome" to Meng Ze. Although Meng Ze said it lightly, Cassandela Worley could tell at a glance that it was not as simple as picking and choosing. All of the top ones had to be top-level planets, so that there would be no omissions in Meng Ze's arrangement. "Old Ka, please let us see and see." There was a moment of no confusion in killer, because Meng Ze rushed to work. The star field setting was not as detailed as Cassandela Worley's, and the planets were not selected much, so it seemed normal. Cassandela Worley didn't say anything, and directly released the star map. Not to mention the 2 bosses, even Dream Star Yahui could tell that Meng Ze's planet setting was completely abnormal. Not only is the distance between the planets larger, but also the speed of rotation and orbit settings can be seen. If it is not a top-level planet, the stability of the galaxy will inevitably be affected, and there will naturally be omissions in the line of defense. "Damn, Meng Ze, you are really rich." For a moment, the big man who was not confused couldn't help but swear. After saving for so many years, for a moment, the big guy didn't dare to say how much more top-level planets he has than Meng Ze. Meng Ze has only been in Nebula for a few months, but the boss has been there for many years. Except for Meng Ze, the bosses naturally would not have imagined how insane Meng Ze's search method was. Numerous battleships are distributed equidistantly, and the refined detection capabilities almost cover the nebula. Any newly born planet cannot escape the detection of Meng Ze. "Let's go. The new generation is better than the old." Heartbroken. The bosses shook their heads pretending to be sad, and hung up the communication. On Meng Ze's side, after the intelligent life of Xiaoka and Cassandela Worley was connected, the plan was sent to the cloud platform. Immediately, the 2 parties began to transmit and connect. Cassandela Worley's side, the galaxies disappeared rapidly one by one, and the galaxies of Meng Ze and the fleets on it filled up in an instant. In the process, Cassandela War got a glimpse of the tip of the iceberg of Meng Ze's strengths. Every galaxy sent over is almost tens of millions of fleets. Cassandela Worley was speechless in shock. He himself has a fleet of more than 700 million, which is already considered huge. But the galaxy that Meng Ze is about to replace has more than 1,000 in his direction alone. Damn it, if all of them are like this, there will be more than 10 billion fleets on his side alone. How scary. After discovering this, Cassandela Worley didn't even blink his eyes, because only at the moment when the galaxy teleports over, the shielding ability of the galaxy itself will fail. Cassandela Worley wonders if Meng Ze is really that perverted. The result is obvious. Meng Ze did not disappoint the boss. He is really that perverted. Seeing the back, Cassandela Worley felt numb. After fighting against the relic Zerg for so many years, even if all the battleships lost and the battleships they have now add up, there are not as many as 10 billion. This guy Meng Ze is not only strong, but also crazy. Cassandela Worley kind of mourned for the leader of the relic Zerg Alec. It was definitely the most tragic thing for Alexei to change himself, and the three of them who were not confused for a moment and the killer. At least, that's what Cassandela Worley thinks. For more than an hour, Cassandela Worley's line of defense was replaced. Cassandela Worley didn't say anything about the Meng Ze fleet. This kind of thing is a secret for every commander. If it was before, Cassandela Worley might not care so much. After all, strength determines status. But now, Cassandela Worley also doesn't want to ruin the relationship with Meng Ze, who would want to have a feud with a pervert. Even if Cassandela Worley didn't say anything, but for a moment, Budao and Killer both had the same situation. And because the two faced off against the relic Zerg earlier than Cassandela Worley, they occupied a much larger star field, and the number of galaxies that Meng Ze replaced was also multiplied. When there was no confusion for a moment and the killer accidentally discovered that the number of Meng Ze's fleet was abnormal, and like Cassandela Worley, one of them saw the end without blinking an eye. Meng Ze is on the side of these two bosses, and the fleet size is even more excessive. For a moment, I was not confused, even if I didn't see part of it in the early stage. The number of battleships exceeded 50 billion. On the side of the killer, part of the early stage was also missed, and the number of remaining battleships was as high as more than 30 billion. Meng Ze, come here. I really want to beat you up now. For a moment, the boss who was not confused sent a message to Meng Ze. Zhao Qianhao, boss, what's the matter? What did you do wrong? Meng Ze looked puzzled. You guy, there are so many fleets. Why do you want us to work hard at the front? Do you think you should be beaten? Received a message from Meng Ze and replied instantly. Sensing the boss's resentment, Meng Ze changed his mind and immediately sent back a message. Boss, I heard that you have a tube of high-grade reagents worth 1 trillion crystal mines. If you want it, please sell it to me. Well, good. The boss suddenly understood your approach. You want to make a big splash. Although the young people's ideas may not be desirable, they should not be too aggressive. The boss replied to the message, and by the way, hung up a sale message to Meng Ze 1 trillion legendary commander enhancement reagents. Meng Ze immediately expressed that he was very moved by the big guy's understanding and bought it with tears of excitement. Subsequently, Meng Ze spent trillions and took the initiative to conduct PY transactions with two other bigwigs. There is a large-scale relocation outside the forbidden area of the Zerg, and it is impossible for a Bellic not to know. But it obviously listened to Meng Ze's warning and did not take any extra actions except for investigation. When he found out that the replacement was Meng Ze's star field and found out the size of part of the fleet, Alexei was even more honest. After all the commotion ended, Alexei finally picked up the machine that Aka had left for him before and pressed the communication button. After waiting for a few minutes, an interface popped up. Bellic, what do you want? What is displayed on the interface is a string of Imperial Federation text, and it is impossible for Meng Ze to give Alexei the video function. But on Meng Ze's side, Alexei's chubby body was displayed on the big screen. Seeing such a huge fat worm, facing such a small interface, is really joyful. Your Majesty, is the area around now your territory? Albrecht asked cautiously. Well, so from now on, please be more honest with me. I'm afraid of trouble. If you don't obey me, you don't need to live, understand? Meng Ze threatened unceremoniously. Your Majesty, I understand. I will do whatever you say. Albrecht said quickly. That's good. Seeing that Bellic was so knowledgeable, Meng Ze said that he was 100% satisfied. Afterwards, I didn't want to talk to Alberto. After all, there was nothing to talk about with Zhongzi. Just about to hang up the communication, Meng Ze suddenly paused. Maybe. Alexei is available. Meng Ze discussed it with Aka in his mind, and Aka also thought it was a good idea. Bellic, what will happen when the Zergs of different races meet? Meng Ze asked Bellic. My lord, I have never met other people of the same kind, so I don't know what will happen, but my nature tells me that the low-level Zerg should obey my arrangement. Albrecht replied. Very good. I will arrange a task for you now. You want me to see your value, understand? Alec immediately agreed. As a smart bug, Alexei naturally knew that only if he had value, the group would have a greater chance of surviving. If there is no value at all, it may be abandoned by others at any time. It decided that no matter what task the king arranged, it must do it with all its heart and soul. I will send your troops to another world later and give you the authority to transmit information. You can control their development in that world. When Seeb is needed, I will notify you. Don't let me disappointed. Okay, my lord. Hearing the task given by Meng Ze, Alexei was very excited. It has been sleepy here for too long. He never thought that he would have a chance to go to other worlds now that he was in danger. Have a look. Immediately, Abelik began to gather troops according to Meng Ze's order. Half an hour later, hundreds of millions of Zerg troops appeared in the territory of the Zerg rear and quickly grabbed dozens of galaxies and began to take root. Abelik, who was born in the interstellar world, didn't know how to use resources to develop in the outside world at first, but the racial advantage of the Zerg is super adaptability. After subduing multiple junior races in the real world, Alec quickly learned how to use planetary resources to develop himself. However, Abelik found that compared to the hard work of the outside world, developing in the interstellar world is much simpler. In the interstellar world, the Zerg only need to collect one mineral, crystal ore. In the real world, the Zerg not only need to collect various minerals and biomass, but also build various buildings for digestion and screening. The materials after screening must be absorbed and synthesized through time-consuming and laborious, before they can finally become the special evolutionary materials for Zerg. As the saying goes, it is easy to go from frugal to extravagant, but difficult to go from extravagant to frugal. Even if Abelik is a bug, he is only a picky bug, and he can't see such an inefficient evolutionary method at all. Seeing the development of other Zergs so hard, Abelik found a sense of superiority. I, Alberic, are indeed different from these native Zergs, born noble. It's a good thing the king didn't send me here, otherwise I would have to be like them. Thinking about it this way, Alexei, who originally planned to occupy the territory and develop it, lost interest. He simply distributed the territory he had laid down to the younger brother who had just taken over. He only left the mother nest, a kind of building to produce interstellar troops. Of course, Albrecht was not a good worm who would do good deeds in vain. This worm unexpectedly learned to collect taxes without a teacher. All the low-level Zerg under his command must hand over 80% of the evolutionary materials synthesized in the territory to him. In Abelik's mind, these evolutionary materials donated are actually nothing. Compared with the crystal mines in the interstellar world, they are both low-level and poor in efficiency, so they can only be said to be makeshift. However, these offerings represent the majesty of Albrecht, and it is a red line that other Zerg cannot challenge. Abelik originally thought that collecting 80% of the harvest was already a lot, but what he didn't expect was that soon many Zergs in the surrounding star fields took the initiative to join him and recognized him as the boss. Albrecht's territory doubled inexplicably, which made him puzzled. But thinking that the better he develops, the more useful he will be to the king, and the more secure his life will be. As a result, Abelik never refused to come, and the younger brother received more and more money, and his nominal territory became bigger and bigger. These are of course later. At this time, Meng Ze only wanted to let Alexei go out to make trouble for the Zerg and indirectly reduce the pressure on the Empire Federation. He couldn't think of what he had released. Abelik's arrangement can be regarded as Meng Ze's idle chess, but Meng Ze doesn't know how useful it will be. But to Meng Ze, it didn't matter. Anyway, he didn't count on Alexei, a fat worm. The other side. There was no confusion for a moment. After the killer, Cash and Della Worley were replaced by Meng Ze, they were completely liberated. Shortly thereafter, the three of them received orders from the high-level Imperial Federation and began to gather their respective fleets in the interstellar world, preparing for world teleportation. The three bosses are very clear about the purpose of their business. The first is to help stabilize the situation in the Imperial Federation. During this period of time, because the 6th-level commander Song Shani publicly stood in line, the political situation of the Empire Federation was in turmoil. This point was not confused for a moment. I agree with Song Shani's approach. To be honest, this approach sounds good to promote the political reform of the Imperial Federation, but in fact, Song Shani is putting all the wooden level commanders, and even all the commanders back on fire. The detached position of the original commander is likely to be broken because of this. The second is naturally to help the Imperial Federation weaken Song Shani. The destination of this teleportation is directly within the river system defended by Song Shani. After the three bosses are in place, they will directly squeeze Song Shani's control area, deprive him of the right to defend, and finally achieve the purpose of weakening and replacing the opponent. The third aspect, of course, is that the top executives of the Empire and the Federation are killing chickens to show the monkeys, deterring other commanders to act honestly according to the rules. Since the Imperial Federation has mastered the world teleportation function of the interstellar world, the transfer of commanders in the interstellar world is accompanied by the teleportation of the fleet it owns in the interstellar world. The star field base left in the interstellar world will continue to operate as one of the commander's supply sources from the outside world, but this channel is not very easy to use. There are several reasons. First, except for a few commanders who own mysterious class battleships, for most commanders, the performance of warships manufactured in the interstellar world is not as good as that of warships produced by the Imperial Federation in the real world. Retain value. Therefore, in order to reduce the burden on the cloud platform, the Imperial Federation will directly destroy its star field after the commander is transferred out. The second reason is the development of warfare technology. Even a commander who owns a Mystic-class battleship will gradually fall behind the times in the face of the continuous updating of technology from the outside Empire Federation. But according to the rules of the interstellar world, after the commander reaches the 6th level, all the buildings have been fixed. Even if the Imperial Federation updates the building or battleship data in the interstellar world, those commanders who have been promoted to the 6th level players cannot renew. For this reason, after a period of time, the value of warships produced in the interstellar world will greatly shrink, and eventually they can only be reduced to a simple material supply base. At this time, in order to reduce the burden on the interstellar world control center, the Empire Federation will also destroy it. The third reason is that apart from perverts like Meng Ze and well-developed commanders, if there is such a moment without confusion, killers, Cassie Della Worley and other top bosses, for the vast majority for most commanders, the supply in the interstellar world is far less fast and powerful than the supply from the Federation. Regardless of whether it is fleet replenishment or resource replenishment, the retention value is not great. More importantly, even if it is preserved in the end, this channel is still in the hands of the Imperial Federation. Even if the commander has some selfish intentions and wants to keep the starfield, it is meaningless to keep the supply base that is not under control. Song Shani, the 6th level commander who publicly stood in line with Pu Isin, was an earlier interstellar world commander. His supply base in the interstellar world was destroyed for the second reason. There is no confusion for a moment. The killer, Cashin Della Worley, and the three are willing to cooperate with the actions of the high-level Imperial Federation military. Apart from being dissatisfied with Song Shani's behavior, they have negotiated with the high-level Imperial Federation military. Among the conditions, one is to open a special transmission channel in the interstellar world for the three of them, so that they can obtain supplies by themselves. This article may not have much meaning for other commanders, but for the three top bosses, at least for a short period of time in the future, they can be completely self-sufficient, even for a big war. After the three commanders were ready, there was no delay on the side of the Imperial Federation. The longer the delay, the more unfavorable the situation of the Imperial Federation. Following the launch of the world teleportation, the billions of fleets of the three commanders instantly appeared in the BDL river system. Immediately, the fleets were quickly divided, and according to the intelligence of the Empire Federation, they quickly dispersed and controlled the star fields around the Qingguang years around their respective transmission points. The teleportation points set up by the Empire Federation deliberately targeted those commanders who followed Song Shani's opposition to control the area. Faced with the sudden appearance of three 6th-level commanders, most of the lower-level commanders could only hold their hands and then face the fate of being dismissed. Occasionally there was resistance, but in front of the large number of fleets of the 6th-level commanders, there were no waves, and they were quickly wiped out. As soon as Song Shani's fleet came into contact with the fleet of the three big bosses, Killer, Cashin Della Worley, he immediately understood the weight of his opponent. I was shocked by the dispatch of 3 6th-level commanders by the Imperial Federation at one time. After thinking about it again and again, he gave up the practice of open confrontation, gathered his own fleet, and occupied about one-third of the area of the BDL River system. The three bosses didn't chase after Song Shani's retreat, and didn't even intercept the retreating fleet. This transfer has a strong purpose in itself, with deterrence first, rather than starting a civil war in the Empire Federation. After many rounds of probing, the two sides were finally located in various directions of the BDL River system and began to confront each other. Of course, although the whole process is described in a few words, the thrills and battles of wits and courage in it cannot be compared with outsiders. Moreover, it will be more than half a month until all this subsides. On the day when the 3 6th-level commanders appeared, the Imperial Federation issued an announcement saying, "Due to the excessive pressure on the BDL River System defense area, the Imperial Federation formally mobilized." Here refers to the commander code, the 6th-level commander for a moment. Commander, 6th-rank commander of the Outlaw, and 6th-rank commander of Cashin Della Worley to garrison. The announcement of the Imperial Federation was vague, neither specifying the area where everyone was stationed, nor the time and authority of the station. In addition, the Imperial Federation released the names of the commanders in the form of code names in the public announcement, indicating that these commanders belong to secret-level commanders whose identities are not disclosed to the public. The high level of the Imperial Federation mobilized 3 6th-level commanders to suppress Song Shani, which caused an uproar in both the political arena and the military of the Empire. Yin. For the vast majority of people in the Imperial Federation, all the 6th-level commanders of the Imperial Federation military are counted. One counts as one. Everyone has a heavy responsibility. It is absolutely impossible to mobilize 3 people at once. Even the core executives of the Imperial Federation military, many people were very surprised. There are also 3 6th-level commanders in the interstellar world. Apart from the Huang family, there are actually many high-level officials who know about it, but those 3 6th-level commanders are related to the stability of the interstellar world, the Empire's commander selection base, and are no less important than Garda River System. Admiral Seamount's office. Huangdu, now you can tell me who will replace the main commander? As the highest person in charge of the interstellar world, even with the orders of the 3-star generals, the transfer of senior commanders cannot bypass Admiral Haishan. 0. However, his subordinates have been ambiguous about the replacement, which made Admiral Haishan feel very uncomfortable. He didn't expect that within his jurisdiction, he didn't know when a 6th-level commander appeared again. His dissatisfaction was also expressed in his questioning. Admiral, it's not that the subordinates didn't want to tell you before, but that even the subordinates didn't have complete confidence. Meng Ze said helplessly. If you are not sure, does your family dare to make promises to other people without authorization? Admiral Haishan obviously didn't believe it. General, I just trust him and pin my hopes on him. Moreover, I'm also afraid that the general will not agree to the candidate after he knows the candidate. Dream Yahweh said honestly. Admiral Haishan stared at Meng Ze. He thought he was good to him, and there was no need to hide himself under normal circumstances, so he believed it a little bit. Who is the candidate? Meng Ze. Admiral Haishan widened his eyes and stood up instantly. Immediately, he was shocked and roared, "How could it be Meng Ze? Huangdu, you are really reckless. Once there is any loss in the interstellar world, you will be a sinner of the Imperial Federation." Hearing the name, Admiral Haishan didn't react at first, but felt familiar, and then suddenly remembered who Meng Ze was, and even his heart slowed down a beat. How could Meng Ze withstand the attack of the relic Zerg? No wonder Huangdu was worried that he would disagree. What the hell? Even now that the replacement has been completed, he still can't believe that Meng Ze can do it. Although Meng Ze is excellent, but how long has he been promoted to the 6th level? The commander's promotion ceremony is still presided over by Wan. Admiral, don't be impatient. The defense line of the relic Zerg is as stable as Mount Kalatbari. Admiral Haishan's saliva seemed to be spraying on Meng Ze's face, but there was no wave on his face, and he said calmly. Hearing Meng Ze's words, Admiral Haishan calmed down. but his face was still full of disbelief. Meng Ze, how could he? It took a while for Admiral Haishan to calm down. Who are the other two? Although it felt very shocking and unbelievable, Admiral Haishan finally accepted it. He now understands why Huangdu didn't tell him in advance. If he did, he would strongly oppose it, and this transfer would probably fail. Oh? Hearing Admiral Haishan's words, Meng Zingyue had a confused expression on his face. Could it be that I didn't speak clearly enough just now? What are you doing in a daze? Who are the other two? Admiral Haishan said angrily. He felt that he had lost his composure just now in front of his subordinates in front of 063 and was a bit ashamed, but who would have thought that the candidate would be Meng Ze? Admiral, there is no one else? Meng Yahweh really didn't know how to speak, but Admiral Haishan had to answer the question. What do you mean there is no one else? Admiral Haishan said dissatisfiedly. A few seconds passed. No one else? No one else. Admiral Haishan came to his senses. His eyes were about to pop out. He got 3? Yes, Admiral. Dreamshing Yahweh quickly replied. Mobilize the star map immediately. Target the Zerg forbidden area and its surroundings. Admiral Haishan pressed the button on the table and ordered loudly. The order fell, and within a few seconds, a holographic projection of a star map appeared in the office. On the star map, the Zerg Forbidden Land is located in the center and displayed in red. It can be clearly seen that there is a circle of star fields displayed normally around it, tightly wrapping the Zerg Forbidden area. Seeing that the Zerg remains were still surrounded, the Admiral breathed a sigh of relief. These star fields are all Meng Ze's? The Admiral, who had calmed down, made a circle with his hand and asked, Yes, Admiral. If I remember correctly, several hours have passed since the transfer of the 3 6th level commanders? Admiral Haishan asked. 8 hours. Hearing this time, Admiral Haishan laughed at himself for a while. This time, the high-level officials of the Imperial Federation military concealed the mobilization information really well, and even the information he got had a deviation of 2 or 3 hours. After such a long time, the Relic Zerg should have discovered it. Have they detected any signs of war in this star field? No, the entire star field is very peaceful. Regarding this point, Dreamshing Yahweh was also a little puzzled. Contact Meng Ze. I will ask him personally. Admiral Haishan ordered. The communication is dialed. 10 seconds. 30 seconds. 1 minute. 5 minutes passed. Admiral Haishan's expression was a little ugly. Admiral, Meng Ze should be busy. Meng Xing Yahweh secretly scolded Meng Ze for being unreliable and disappeared at a critical moment. If it still disappeared for a few hours at once as usual, Meng Zingyue couldn't imagine what the consequences would be. Seeing the general's face getting darker and darker, Meng Xing Yahweh couldn't help but tremble in his heart. Fortunately, at the 7th minute, the communication was connected. Boss, what's the matter? It's wrong to disturb people's dreams. Meng Ze, who just came in from Blue Star, pretended to yawn. It's me, Haishan. A figure suddenly appeared from the side of Meng Zingyue. Meng Ze was startled when he saw it. Admiral Seamount? General, I salute you. Meng Ze hastily saluted. Although he couldn't understand Meng Ze's tired look just now, Admiral Haishan still gave a salute. Meng Ze, I want to confirm with you personally, can you resist the Relic Zerg? I want a clear answer. Admiral Haishan said seriously. Admiral, I assure you that the defense line will keep the opponent safe. It was unexpected how could the figure of Admiral Haishan appear, and when he heard his question, Meng Ze immediately understood what was going on, and immediately answered firmly. Hearing Meng Ze's answer, Admiral Haishan was a little surprised. Meng Ze, do you understand the importance of the interstellar world to the Imperial Federation? Don't worry, Admiral. I have complete confidence. After looking at Meng Ze for a while, seeing Meng Ze staring at him calmly, Admiral Haishan finally said, Okay. At the same time, my heart moved, and I suddenly made another decision. In front of Meng Ze, Admiral Haishan turned to Meng Xing Yahweh and said, Meng Ze has now completely taken over the defense line of the Relic Zerg, and at one time gave the Empire Federation 3 more level, 6 commanders who can be mobilized. I think this contribution is great, and his current status and military rank are no longer worthy of his contribution, so you need to make a report as soon as possible and make adjustments. Yes, Admiral. Meng Xing Yahuwei's heart trembled. Admiral Haishin wanted to win over Meng Ze. Thank you, Admiral. Admiral Haishin made no secret of his appreciation and asked for promotion in person, and Meng Ze quickly expressed his gratitude. You're welcome. You deserve it. Do things with your heart. From now on, the defense line of the ruined Zerg will be handed over to you. Admiral Haishin smiled and encouraged. General, please rest assured that nothing will go wrong. Admiral Haishin nodded, then praised Meng Ze, and the regiment asked him to leave. Prepare me a copy of Meng Ze's investigation materials. Knowing that his subordinate is extremely intelligent, Admiral Haishin did not hide his purpose and directly ordered Meng Xingyue to say, Okay, Admiral. The risk you took this time is indeed a bit big, but fortunately Meng Ze is really a genius. Although it turned out to be a false alarm in the end, Admiral Haishin still has lingering fears. Fears? Thank you, Admiral, for your suggestion. Putting all hope on one person, Dream Xing Yahuwei has never done it before. In fact, now that he has come to his senses, he also wonders why he trusts Meng Ze so much. After much deliberation, apart from his perception of Meng Ze, Fantasia Xing Yahuwei can only be attributed to his own intuition. Fortunately, I succeeded in this bet. That night, the Meng family welcomed a visit from a heavyweight. Admiral Haishin, welcome to the humble house. The second member of the Meng family, Meng Xiaohan, the second-rank lieutenant general of the Imperial Federation, went to the gate in person to welcome him. Lieutenant General Xiaohan, you are too polite. The two exchanged pleasantries. Meng Xiaohan led Haishin to the family meeting hall. Meng Xiaohan stood in the hall and watched the two enter. 0.4. Old man Meng, please don't be offended by Haishin's presumptuous visit. Admiral Haishin said to Meng Xiaohan very politely. Although Meng Xiaohan has retired to the second line, firstly, he was once a 3-star general, and secondly, everyone with a discerning eye knows that he is a great hero of the Imperial Federation, and his status is still lofty. In front of Xiaohan, he still doesn't know how to get a university, and he pretends to be a latecomer. What's more, he came this time to make friends with the Meng family, not to show off his might. This time the Imperial Federation caused waves caused by Song Shani, and now it seems that it should not be able to stir up waves. But this incident reminded Admiral Haishin that there is a difference between having the support of the 6th level commander and not having the support of the 6th level commander. This time, even the core executives of the Imperial Federation were disgraced at the beginning. If it hadn't been for the exchange of high-level officials in the Empire and the support of 3 6th level commanders, it is hard to say how this matter will develop next. Haishin's own command ability is not particularly outstanding, and there is no support from the 6th level commander behind him. Being able to occupy the key position of the highest person in charge of the interstellar world is the result of the compromise of several big families. Of course, Haishin's own family is naturally a first-class family. However, it is too difficult to make friends with the 6th level commanders. Each of the 6th level commanders has a huge armed force, and all of them are the top ranks of the Imperial Federation. Although Haishin is a general, many 6th level commanders are only lieutenant generals, or even first-level lieutenant generals, but the status of 6th level commanders is no lower than that of Haishin, a second-level general. Unless the opponent is a 3-star general, the top rank of the military, the 6th level commander can hardly look at anyone as long as he does not betray the Imperial Federation. Even if Haishin wanted to make friends with them, he couldn't find a suitable opportunity for a while, and he might not be able to make friends with them. But Meng Ze is different. He has just emerged, and apart from the Huang family, he should be the first to know about it. Of course, in a few days, when the facts are exposed, Meng Ze must be the sweet potato in everyone's eyes. The so-called step-by-step, let yourself know Meng Ze's situation in advance by accident. It is a godsend opportunity. How can you not seize it? Thinking of this, Haishin's expression became more enthusiastic. Where Admiral Haishin can come, it is my Meng family who is shining. Please sit down. The old man of the Meng family asked Haishin to sit down and let the servants serve the tea first. Regarding Admiral Haishan's sudden visit, the Meng family was completely clueless. Father Meng Shaoan retired to the second line, while Meng Shaoan was only a second-level lieutenant general with limited qualifications and no hope of promotion. Although Meng Xiaowu's administrative route is now the top 1-star and a big administrative star, it should have nothing to do with General Haishan. He Shangxian and Meng Shaoan exchanged pleasantries for a while, and then talked about the recent turmoil in the Imperial Federation. Could it be that Haishan wants my Meng family to stand in line here? Meng Shaoan thought. If it is this request, it will be uncomfortable. It is not so easy for a general to refuse. But then Meng Shaoan realized that he was wrong. The turmoil in the Imperial Federation was just a chat, and the topic of the two quickly changed. Subsequently, Meng Xiaomei came to Haishan. Lieutenant General Xiao Han, has he been in the position of second-level lieutenant general for a while? When Haishan asked this, of course it wasn't that he didn't know, but it was just bringing up the topic. After discovering that Meng Ze, a hidden gem, was born in the Meng family, he turned over all information about the Meng family. It's been 15 years since I returned to Admiral. Meng Xiaohan, who was accompanying him, replied. Meng Xiaoan's mind was moved. It was impossible for Haishan to ask such a question inexplicably. Could it be that he was going to give his eldest son a hand? Just why? Meng Xiaohan is already a second-level lieutenant general, and if he goes up to the third-level lieutenant general, he will be close to the threshold of a general. If it really helped Meng Xiaohan get promoted, it would be a great favor. It's been so long. I think it's time for Lieutenant General Xiao Han to mention it. Sure enough, Meng Xiaoan heard Admiral Haishan's words immediately. Meng Xiaohan naturally heard it too. As if being hit by a big pie, Meng Xiaohan was immediately elated. After finally restraining himself from losing his composure, he immediately expressed his gratitude to Admiral Haishan. Since Admiral Haishan said this, he must be planning to give him a hand. Although he didn't know the reason, Meng Xiaohan never thought of refusing. At this time, Mr. Meng naturally couldn't say no. That would be really slapping the other party in the face. Thanks to Admiral Haishan for taking a fancy to Quanzi. Xiao Han has spent many years without any achievements. I'm afraid it will make it difficult for the Admiral. Mr. Meng seems to be saying that Meng Xiaohan is not good, but in fact he also wants to do this matter. Haishan was originally here to sell favors, and when he heard the old man's words, he suddenly laughed. Don't worry, old man. Lieutenant General Xiao Han has enough qualifications. I have to push him no matter what. Admiral Haishan had already made up his mind before coming here, and even greeted some people. Even if Meng Xiaohan's promotion to the third rank of lieutenant general was not a certainty, he was sure, so he dared to speak up. Then thank you, Admiral. Mr. Meng thanked. Thank you for the promotion, Admiral. The goal was achieved, and Haishan didn't stay any longer, and after chatting for a few more words, he offered to leave. The Meng family sent Admiral Haishan to the gate. Admiral Haishan, I don't know why. When it was time to say goodbye, the old man of the Meng family couldn't help but ask. Haishan smiled secretly. Even if the Meng family didn't ask, in fact, he would have to tell. At least let the other party know who the favor fell on. But it would be better if the old man of the Meng family spoke first. Old man, you have a good grandson. After speaking, Admiral Haishan cupped his hands, turned around, got on the aircraft, and left quickly. Meng Qi? Impossible. The old man thought of Meng Qi first, but then he denied it. If it's not Meng Qi, it can only be Meng Ze. Is there something I don't know about recently? Meng Xiaoan thought with a frown. Naturally, Meng Xiaohan also thought of this. Father, is it because of Ozawa? It's probably the case. You can go to me and ask Ozawa later. Xiaoan said. Master Meng? When Meng Ze received Meng Xiaoan's communication, he happened to be in the interstellar world to check the completion of the task assigned to Xiaoka. Seeing Mr. Meng's newsletter, Meng Ze remembered that he forgot to communicate with the Meng family about what he had done recently. Isn't it for you to settle accounts with yourself? Meng Ze has a guilty conscience. After all, Meng 520's family may have been tricked by himself. After waiting for a few seconds, Meng Ze connected to the communication. Grandpa, how are you? There have been several communications, but this is the first time Meng Ze cares about his body. Meng Shaowen suddenly feels that his grandson is getting better and better, but he seems to be more and more caring. Okay, Grandpa is in good health. I wonder how you are doing here, Ozawa, the old man asked with a smile. Very good. Just changed a defense zone recently. Meng Ze said. Defense zone? You mean the starfield, right? In the interstellar world, where would the 6th level players come to any defense zone? Mr. Meng didn't turn the corner for a moment. Grandpa, it's the defense zone, Meng Ze emphasized. Defense area? Mr. Meng's heart skipped a beat. Did you go to the Zerg? Seeing Meng Ze nodding his head, Mr. Meng became anxious immediately. Who arranged it? I'll ask him to settle the score. Are they trying to destroy the last hope of my Meng family? From the old man's point of view, arranging Meng Ze to go to the Zerg side of the ruins is clearly to use him as cannon fodder. Once defeated, a record will be left in the central intelligence brain of the Empire, which will have an impact on future promotion. And since he was arranged near the Zerg in the ruins, others have already made up their minds to bury him, so the number of defeats cannot be just 1, 10, or hundreds of times. At that time, there will be no chance for Meng Ze to be promoted. Grandpa, don't worry, I voluntarily. Meng Ze hurriedly said. Hey, you are so confused. Mr. Meng sighed. Grandpa, don't worry, I naturally dare to do this only if I am sure. How can you be sure? Can you compare to a 6th level commander? Even a 6th level commander needs 3 or more people to control the relic Zerg. Mr. Meng said a little angrily. Meng Ze could naturally hear that Mr. Meng cared about him. Although the real object was not him, since he replaced Meng Ze and the cause and effect were settled, there was actually not much difference. After Mr. Meng finished speaking, seeing that Meng Ze didn't seem to take it seriously, he was really angry. Meng Ze saw it, and he was not in a hurry. He said calmly, Grandpa, does he know why I moved there? Could it be that someone else lied to you? Could there be any other reason? Mr. Meng was taken aback. I'm going to replace the 3 commanders who are not confused for a moment, the Killer and Cashandela Worley. Meng Ze said calmly. Is there a moment when you are not confused, Killer, Casandela Worley? Mr. Meng felt that these 3 names were very familiar, as if he had just heard them from somewhere. 6th level commander. Meng Ze reminded. You replaced them? As soon as Meng Ze reminded him, Mr. Meng immediately remembered who these 3 people were and said in disbelief. Just less than a day ago, these 3 names appeared on the announcement of the Imperial Federation, and the old man naturally knew their weight. Yeah. Meng Ze nodded. Who? 3. Meng Shaowen was so startled that he stood up in an instant. Then his body swayed suddenly, and he grabbed the handrail so as not to sit down. Meng Shaowen felt that even when he used the fleet to intimidate Emperor Xing, he had never lost his composure like this. Have you made it this far? Old Man Meng looked at Meng Ze with both shock and hope in his eyes. Yes, I did. Seeing Meng Ze's plain and natural reply, Mr. Meng suddenly burst out laughing. Haha, Ozawa, you are very good with you. My Meng family will be prosperous, even if Grandpa dies soon. I can rest assured. Meng Shaowen fully understood. No wonder Admiral Haishan Yuan came to make friends. Given Haishan's position, Meng Ze had known for a long time that he could do this. The other party sold it to the Meng family in advance, which also shows that the other party fully recognized Meng Ze's strength. Grandpa was joking. You still have a long lifespan. For the old man of the Meng family, Meng Ze still has a good impression of him, and he doesn't mind making the old man happy. In the days that followed, Mr. Meng's opinion was verified. The Meng family was very busy. First, the major families or their core figures, or the head of the family came to visit the Meng family in person, and then the small and medium families who got the news a little later came to visit. Many aristocratic families who have nothing to do with each other come to the door with gifts in all directions. He didn't ask for any benefits, he just wanted to be familiar. The most important thing here is naturally the exposure of Meng Ze's own strength, which is comparable to a 6th level commander. But in addition, there are 2 important reasons. One is because of Meng Ze's identity, and the other is the influence of Song Shani's turmoil. Meng Ze was born in the Meng family, and in the eyes of many aristocratic families, he is a natural ally. If one wants to become a level 6 commander, talent should account for more than half of it, and acquired education is only a benefit. Therefore, among the commanders of the Imperial Federation, 70% are ordinary people or from small families. Although most of them will eventually become new aristocratic families, or be wooed by aristocratic families in various ways. But the growth experience of these people is doomed that they will not be so close to the aristocratic family. In the eyes of the aristocratic family, Meng Ze is obviously very different. His background destined him to be the defender of the interests of the aristocratic family, so the major families are willing to express their closeness immediately. The second one is Song Shani's Taipu Isin incident. At this time, the turmoil is in full swing, and the 3 6th-level bosses drawn from the interstellar world are still fighting each other at this time. The power of the 6th-level commanders in this incident obviously. Meng Ze was exposed at this time, just in time. Just like Admiral Haishan, all major families are willing to sell favors to Meng at this time. Not only was Meng Xiaohan's promotion to 3-star lieutenant general approved within a few days, Meng Qi was also honored to be promoted to a first-class colonel. And Meng Xiaowu, who had just been promoted not long ago, was transferred to Daedixing and served as the deputy head of administration. It may seem mediocre, but everyone knows that the deputy head of Emperor Star is much more promising than the chief executives of other galaxy levels. The changes in the Meng family did not have any impact on Meng Ze. As far as he himself is concerned, after meeting Admiral Haishan for 3 days, he was promoted to a 4th-level commander by leapfrogging his rank, and his military rank was directly promoted to a 3rd-level colonel. Just one more jump, and you will enter the rank of general. This promotion speed is simply faster than riding a rocket. Meng Ze, congratulations on your promotion to the 4th rank of commander. Admiral Haishan presided over Meng Ze's promotion ceremony alone, but the specifications of the participants were not bad at all. There are not only 2-star General Haishan, 1-star General Lu Chong, but also 3-star Lieutenant General Yu Minxian, 3-star Lieutenant General Arail, and 1st-level Major General Meng Xingyue. 5 generals, including 2 generals and 2 top lieutenant generals, presided over the promotion of a single person to the 4th-level commander and 3rd-level colonel. Even in the history of the Imperial Federation, it is probably the only one. Thank you, Admiral Haishan, Admiral Lu Chong, Lieutenant General Yu Minxian, Lieutenant General Arail, and Major General Huang Du. Receiving the new commander's insignia and rank insignia from Admiral Haishan, Meng Ze expressed his gratitude to the 5. Regarding his new identity, Meng Ze was actually not as happy as he appeared in front of several people. Because, well, okay, with A-Ka, the entire interstellar world can be said to be in Meng Ze's pocket. At this point, if it wasn't for the fact that he had a good impression of the Imperial Federation and that he had emotional bonds with many people, Meng Ze could even directly close the interstellar world, completely hide it, and become his own private world. At that time, let alone a 4th-level commander, Meng Ze felt that he could single-handedly challenge the entire Imperial Federation. Even if he couldn't defeat him, he was inherently invincible. Of course, there is no harm to Meng Ze now that he has the identity of the Imperial Federation. Meng Ze has no urgent need to privatize the interstellar world for the time being, so he intends to maintain it like this for now. If no changes are made, Meng Ze can continue to obtain new technologies from the Imperial Federation. Of course, if there is a real need, Meng Ze can also make a decision. Anyway, the initiative is in his hands, and it is up to him whether to advance or retreat. Leaving the interstellar world, the chaos of the Empire Federation was also isolated. Sure enough, only in Blue Star, in Xiagua, even if they are alone at home, they can feel that kind of intimacy. Xiagua has already started the process of gene strengthening for the whole population. Because the gene enhancement reagents are too expensive, some people even offered a sky-high price of 100 million Eagle Yuan in the black market. Xiagua directly used the army to carry out armed escorts and directly took batches of them on the spot, preventing people from being robbed or being robbed. The case of resale. Those who are applying for naturalization or have been approved, but the naturalization process has not yet completed the whaling, but Xiagua immediately issued a statement saying, in addition to this strengthening of the whole people, The follow-up will continue to strengthen the newly naturalized citizens of Xiagua. Foreigners who have made outstanding contributions to the country of Xia will also be rewarded with gene enhancement reagents. As soon as this statement came out, Blue Star's public opinion about Xiagua was immediately harmonious. 1 month later, Xiagua officially held a military exposition, inviting leaders of various countries and people friendly to Xiagua to visit. At this military expo, in addition to displaying fortress model tanks, intelligent armed robots, land combat armor, Gauss electromagnetic rifles, electromagnetic guns, vertical takeoff and landing super-large transport aircraft, ghost fighters, and other equipment produced by the direct technical support of the Galaxy fleet outside. There are also armed helicopters, new type of tracking missiles, ultra-high-speed self-guided torpedoes with a range of 200 kilometers, ultra-long-range air-to-air missiles, airborne microquantum radars, unmanned combat vehicles, and swarm attack drones that Xiagua absorbed and improved with appearance technology, man machines, pulsed laser weapons, and more. Most importantly, there are also two special things on display. One is called a decay neutralizer, and the other is called a force field suppressor. Decay neutralizer is a product that can interfere with the decay of nuclear materials. It can solve the problem of nuclear residues and shorten the process of nuclear radiation for thousands of years to a few days. The force field suppressor is a large-scale defensive device, which can be regarded as an ultra-low-end version of the energy field shield. This kind of thing cannot be manufactured by Xiagua yet. It is a finished product that Meng Ze arranged for Shiguangqi to give Xiagua directly. Its function is very simple. After it is turned on, it will suppress all high-energy physical effects within the range of the force field, such as lasers, explosions, shock waves, rays, and even bullets. For example, a missile with a killing radius of up to 200 meters, if the force field suppressor is in effect, the effective killing range may be reduced to 5 meters or even lower, and the nuclear explosion will almost become the effect of a large bomb. When Xiagua exhibited these two items, he was short of writing directly on his face, "I am not afraid of nuclear war," these words. This wave of operations directly knocked Dingjiang into a dizzy state. The nuclear arsenal that he once relied on to maintain his hegemony was almost like a waste product. By now, everyone knows that Xia country is not on the same level as other Blue Star countries. Xiagua's international environment is unprecedentedly harmonious, and Xiagua's voice is unprecedentedly loud. Adhering to the principle of peaceful coexistence of Blue Star, Xiagua began to persuade peace against Dingjiang and the hegemonic behavior of Western countries. For those who do not listen to advice, Xiagua unites with most of Blue Star's small partners to collectively sanction them. On the Wanwan side, some generals united to launch a military coup, overthrew the Green Party regime, and completed the procedure of merging with the mainland at an unprecedented speed. The country that lived a good life before, after Xiagua developed, suffered from victim paranoia. Before Xiagua took action, civil strife broke out in the whole country, opening the new century of the Warring States era. A year passed by. When Akka announced to Meng Ze that the strengthening of the boundary wall of the interstellar world and the internal circulation of information had all been completed, there was a sense of right and wrong for every person in Ball. From the moment they first came into contact with AKA, the two were precarious and then gradually became stronger, and until today, they have reached the level below the 9th level civilization, and even the 8th level civilization can no longer erase them. The variety in between is hard to describe. Meng Ze, enter the interstellar world. I will engrave your information on the core of the world. From now on, unless the interstellar world is destroyed, you no longer have to worry about your own safety. AKA said, "Is it okay to bring, Sige, people with you?" Meng Ze asked, "It's not suitable now. When you become capable again in the future, I will leave the interstellar world to you. Then you can figure it out." AKA knew what Meng Ze was thinking. Well, Meng Ze entered the star world. Aka didn't know what method was used to make Meng Ze start to blur, and then turned into a mass of unknown information, passing through the crystal nucleus that is the core of the interstellar world like a stream of water. Meng Ze didn't lose his senses, but found that his entire field of vision had changed dramatically. All the observed things are directly turned into some kind of information. After spending time, Meng Ze can gradually sort out some connections from the information. He even feels that as long as he wants to, he can directly erase some information. Is this the world in the eyes of Aka? Or is this the world in the eyes of the 8th-level civilized people? I don't know how long it took. Meng Ze suddenly felt a kind of intimacy between himself and the interstellar world. This is... Meng Ze was shocked. Myth. AKA's voice sounded. Meng Ze, do you still remember the question you asked? AKA asked. What is the problem? You once asked me if the end of science is a myth. At that time, I answered you that the end of science is far more mysterious than myth. Have you realized it? Meng Ze felt AKA's joy and embarrassment. But my current situation is indeed no different from the myth. After a while, Meng Ze's body reappeared, first as an illusory figure, and then gradually changed from illusory to real. When the body is completely solidified, all the senses of Meng Ze as a human being return, but compared with the previous state of information, the gap is so great that Meng Ze's mentality is almost unbalanced. AKA, what's wrong with me? Meng Sheng asked AKA with an ugly face. It's a normal phenomenon. This is the life and death hurdle for civilizations to leap across classes, and this is also the most important reason why level 8 civilizations are much rarer than level 7 civilizations and below. Upgrading from a 7th level civilization to an 8th level civilization is a leap in the level of life. Many people cannot bear this kind of change. They will either get lost in the information level, or become mentally disturbed, or completely collapse. The entire civilization will soon fall apart. Just now, I just took advantage of the branding opportunity to let you experience the feeling of an 8th level civilized creature in advance, and you can still experience it later, but the intervals can vary from time to time until you fully adapt to this transformation. AKA, you're right. Thinking that I had AKA's help, I was almost lost in the information level. If I rashly brought my family and friends in, once something went wrong, the consequences would be unimaginable. When Meng Ze appeared in Blue Star again, it felt like the whole world was different. I seemed to be standing on Blue Star, but I seemed to be independent from Blue Star. It took Meng Ze a while to get used to this feeling. He knew that this was because he had branded his own information in the core of the interstellar world. 2 days later, it was the weekend again. Meng Ze called Luo's father and Luo's mother in advance, and made an appointment to come to the door, saying that he had something to discuss with the two. Meng Ze came to the community where Wei Wei's house was located, and walked in directly. There was no decent property management at all. According to the information sent by Wei Wei, Meng Ze found the house number of Luo Wei's house and knocked on the door. Brother Bai, you are here. Luo Wei was very happy. This was the first time Meng Ze came to her house, and she used to go there by herself. Meng Ze twisted 2 bags of healthcare products produced by the Imperial Federation in his hands, including beauty, body conditioning, and even life extension functions. He couldn't free his hands, so he stretched his head over and kissed Wei Wei's face, which made the girl face a burst of blush. The two have been together for so long. Luo Wei is still so shy, but Meng Ze likes her like this, so he teases her honestly. Luo Wei took out the shoes and asked Meng Ze to change them, and took the gift from Meng Ze herself first. Brother Bai, what did you bring? Meng Ze had just put on his slippers when he heard Wei Wei asking. Healthcare products are made over there. Meng Ze said. Brother Bai, are you not afraid that my parents will find out? Luo Wei asked in surprise. Vivi, I came here today just to talk to Uncle Ant. I don't want you to go to school anymore and waste your time. If you are willing to learn, the Imperial Federation has a lot of ways to quickly absorb knowledge. Meng Ze said. Really? The girl exclaimed in surprise when she heard Meng Ze say that she would not be allowed to go to school. If it weren't for her duty as a student, Luo Wei would have long since given up on staying in school. For her, the knowledge in school is not too simple. Sitting in the classroom every day is a kind of torture. Naturally, it is true. Brother Bai, how are you going to convince my parents? Money is not enough. They are not easy to convince. Luo Wei said worriedly. Don't worry, I'm sure. What Meng Ze wants to talk about today is naturally not only about Wei Wei dropping out of school. He also wants to let Luo's father and Luo mother know some things in advance, so that they can be mentally prepared for future needs. Moreover, What Meng Ze wanted to arrange today was not precisely Luo's parents and Luo's mother. Seeing Meng Ze, Luo's father and mother Luo were in a good mood. Although they were not married to Luo Wei, both of them already regarded Meng Ze as their son-in-law. When you come to your home, what gifts do you bring? Mother Luo said to Meng Ze in a complaining tone. Nothing else, homemade. Meng Ze said with a smile. When Luo's mother heard it, she took it over and looked at it. Her face was full of confusion. What is this? Why can't I recognize any of the characters on it? Are you making an export product? Mother Luo asked. Puff. Luo Wei at the side couldn't hold back and laughed outright. The girl said you knew it? You still laughed at me. Mother Luo said angrily. Show me. Father Luo said curiously from the side. Luo's father took a bottle and looked at it over and over for a while and said suspiciously, Ozawa, which country are you exporting products to? I am more or less familiar with the words of countries such as Britain, France, Germany, Japan, Russia, and Korea. I completely understand yours. I do not know. Hearing her father's words, Luo Wei looked at Meng Ze. She was very curious about what Meng Ze would say. Uncle Luo, I didn't dare to tell you some things before because of my lack of strength, but now my enemies can't do anything to me, they can't touch me, and naturally they won't do anything to you. So I think you can also know. Luo Xiang is just an ordinary person. When Meng Ze's words came out, he was a little terrified. Mother Luo, who had just made tea, almost couldn't hold the cup steady. Xiao, Ozawa, don't you speak so scarily. In Xia Kingdom, what enemies do you have? Don't they dare to kill people? Ozawa, if you have any difficulties, you should call the police. We ordinary people always have problems that we can't solve. Don't fight with others by yourself. Father Luo said. The words of Luo's father and Luo's mother made Meng Ze feel dazed for a while. After being a commander for so long, he almost forgot how ordinary people think. Aunt, Uncle Luo, you don't have to worry. I have the ability to deal with it, and my enemy is not in Blue Star. You child, what nonsense are you talking about? Your enemies are not in Blue Star, so they are still aliens. Mother Luo said. Ask for flowers. It's aliens. Luo Wei interrupted suddenly. You know again. Mother Luo said to her daughter. Meng Ze knows that some things are hard to explain without seeing them with his own eyes. So he stood up and said, Uncle Luo, Aunt, I'll take you to my place to have a look, and you'll know when the time comes.
Now.
Where to? Wait a minute, I'll send someone to pick you up. Meng Ze said, By the way, can you go up to the roof? Yes. Father Luo said. Then we'll wait upstairs. Wait on the roof? Luo's father and Luo's mother's heart moved. Could it be by helicopter? Thinking about how easy it is to buy a helicopter with Meng Ze's net worth, Luo's parents and Luo's mother were a little excited, as they had never taken a helicopter before. 0. In space, an assault transport ship turned on the stealth mode and approached the Blue Star at the fastest speed. After arriving at a position 20,000 kilometers away from the Blue Star, it will immediately turn into an orbital flight and quickly adjust its position and attitude. Commander, the transport ship has arrived at the predetermined location and can be teleported. Shi Guangqi's report came from Meng Ze's mind. Uncle Luo, Aunt, come a little closer. Meng Ze took Wei Wei's hand and greeted the two of them. The plane hasn't arrived yet. Why wait so early? Mama Luo asked suspiciously. Meng Ze smiled, but didn't answer. Immediately, a ray of light descended from the sky, enveloped several people, and recovered them instantly. The next moment, several people appeared in the transport assault ship. For Meng Ze, the tractor beam is not a very high-end technology, but this method is easily disturbed, so whether it is in the war or before the Blue Star, it is basically rarely used. It happened to come in handy today, but it scared Luo's parents and Luo's mother so much that they almost thought they were kidnapped by aliens. When Meng Ze finished explaining, the two were taken aback. What? You said that big spaceship is yours? It's not just big spaceships. Brother Xiaobai has too many warships to count. Under Meng Ze's gesture, Luo Wei said proudly. Luo's father and Luo's mother felt like they were listening to heavenly scriptures. Why did his son-in-law become an alien's high official, as well as a spaceship and a battleship pill. Luo's father and Luo's mother came to the star-class mothership again like sleepwalking along the way. It was only when I saw Father Meng, Mother Meng, and Zhang Lingling's family that I came back to my senses. Although I was a little surprised why Zhang Lingling's family was here, I didn't ask much. Ze, why did you become a commander? Even though everyone was on the star-class mothership, Father Meng still couldn't believe it. Dad, there are some encounters, it's not convenient to explain. I will take you 2 elders later to see the troops under your son's command. Meng Ze didn't explain, and Meng's father didn't ask again. Zhang Lingling's parents looked at Meng Ze in a very complicated way. If it wasn't for her daughter's insistence, and the two also wanted to see who cheated their daughter, they would not have come here at all. They would never have imagined that their daughter would become someone else's little lover. However, the subsequent experience simply subverted the 3 views of the two of them. When they saw the February 17th situation, which was even more mysterious than the story, appear in front of their eyes, both of them were terrified. Seeing Meng Ze, he didn't dare to show any face, but his expression was very complicated. Commander, all the fighters and equipment of Star-Class Carrier number 002589 are ready. Please review them. Seeing that the commander had greeted the others, Shi Guangqi, who had already been waiting by the side, stepped forward to salute Meng Ze. Go to the control room first. Meng Ze waved his hand. This time, Meng Ze had nothing to hide. Millions of motorized infantry corps, mecha corps, heavy armored fortress corps, some function assault ships, and space assault ships lined up in a neat line of nearly 100 kilometers to accept Meng Ze's inspection. All the way Meng Ze passed, all the soldiers didn't speak. They just stood at attention, saluted, and paid attention. With uniform movements, there was a roar like an explosion. Even Luo Wei, who often stays with Meng Ze, has never experienced such a feeling, let alone anyone else. This time, everyone felt the power of Meng Ze thoroughly. Even if they just followed behind, they still felt agitated and unable to control themselves. Meng's father and Meng's mother never thought that their son would have such an achievement, and their chests were filled with pride. The Legion review lasted for 2 hours, but no one had too much time to spare. This experience was impossible for ordinary people to encounter in 10 lifetimes. During the process of reviewing the troops, Zhang's father and Zhang's mother looked at each other, and the original dissatisfaction disappeared naturally, and they even felt lucky for their daughter's choice. Mu Chong, this is human nature. If Zhang Lingling hadn't chosen Meng Ze, the best situation of marrying on Blue Star would not be 1/10,000th of what it is at this time. A group of people came to the core control room of the mothership. Luo Wei and Zhang Lingling had been here before, but it was nothing. The rest of the people were quite amazed. Under Meng Ze's suggestion, Shi Guangqi acted as a narrator, introducing the various functions of the core control room to everyone. Only then did everyone understand that such a huge mothership only needs a dozen people to operate it. After satisfying everyone's curiosity, Meng Ze clapped his hands, attracted everyone's attention, and said, "Next, we are going to a place more than 100 light-years away from the Blue Star, and there will be a process of dimensional space navigation. You can try it out." Ozawa, how long will it take to go to such a far place? I have to go to work tomorrow, so I didn't ask for leave. Father Luo asked suddenly. That, Uncle Luo, you don't have to go to work. Meng Ze was speechless for a while. Luo's father is really a real person. He gave them 100 million before, but he really didn't move at all. Up to now, my head has not turned the corner, and I am still thinking about going to work. I have been shocked before, but when Meng Ze said this, everyone realized that if they can build such a huge armed force, will they still be short of money? Now that the talk is all about this, Meng Ze simply said, "Uncle Luo, Aunt, if you want to continue living in Blue Star, don't live in the original place anymore, buy a big villa. Don't be afraid to spend money. I can buy the entire Blue Star with just one warship, and I have hundreds of billions of such warships under my command. I will arrange all the servants and security for you. In addition, Wei Wei will not go to school and spend more time with her. You are also good. If you want to learn knowledge, I have a better way." Luo's father and Luo's mother were startled by Meng Ze's words and nodded in agreement in a daze. They are not top-notch. They are not willing to live a good life. It was because the relationship between their daughter and Meng Ze was not settled before, but they got used to it and did not change it. Now the relationship between their daughter and Meng Ze is also fixed. Meng Ze has also spoken out. The two also accepted it calmly. Meng Ze turned his attention to Zhang Lingling's parents. The two were both embarrassed and looking forward to it. Uncle Zhang and Aunt Zhang can also make arrangements at will. If you need anything, just tell Lingling. Seeing the two nodding their heads, Meng Ze looked at his parents again. Luo's mother saw that Meng Ze's attitude towards the Zhang family was unusual, and she wanted to speak, but Luo's father stopped her and asked her daughter in private about such matters. Judging by Luo Wei's appearance, it should be very clear. Dad, Mom, I have arranged people around you to protect you. If you need anything, just tell them directly. They will report to me. Now our family doesn't know anything. Meng Ze said. Meng's father and mother agreed excitedly, feeling that they have never had such a good time in their life. Now that the matter was made public, Meng Ze no longer concealed it and waved his hands. Luo Wei and Zhang Lingling both stood by Meng Ze's side. Let's go. Go and see my fleet. Then, he turned his head to Shi Guang and said strangely, Captain Shi, let Xiaoguo know about the space jump in 5 minutes. Hearing Meng Ze's order, Shi Guangqi immediately sent a message to Xiaoguo because he was only leaving temporarily and it didn't have much impact. Afterwards, the control mothership began to accelerate, and the space jump engine also began to store energy. 5 minutes later, a burst of space fluctuations flashed, and the star-class mothership disappeared instantly. 100 light-years, it takes about half an hour to sail at full speed. Meng Ze knew that Luo's father, Luo's mother, and Zhang's family each had something to ask. So Shi Guangqi was asked to open several viewing rooms alone, and Wei Wei and Lingling each took their parents to a separate room for viewing. As for my parents, they stayed in the control room with me. Ozawa, what's the matter with that girl? Meng's father and mother endured it for a long time, because everyone was there before, so it was difficult to speak. Dad, Mom, there is another girl named Zhang Lingling who is also with me. With my current situation, it doesn't matter at all. You don't have to worry about this matter. Meng Ze said. Hearing Meng Ze's words, the two of them thought, this is indeed the case, and there is nothing to worry about. After more than 20 minutes, everyone returned to the control room. No one said anything, and the matter passed peacefully. The review of the Battleship 0.4 is much more spectacular than the previous military parade, but because of the long distance, it is not as shocking as before. But the vast number of fleets flew by one, making Meng Ze's status in the hearts of the Luo family and the Zhang family raised countless levels. Exhausting their imaginations, they still don't know how powerful Meng Ze is. The ship review was completed, and Meng returned with everyone. When they returned to Blue Star, everyone seemed to have passed away. In addition to these people who arrived at Blue Star this time, there were more than 100 biochemical guards. Their identities are settled by AKA. Afterwards, these people will integrate into the 3 families as nanny, driver, doorman, employee, and so on. Meng Ze gave his parents, Luo Wei, and Zhang Lingling each a card, which they can use as they please, with a nearly unlimited amount. So far, Meng Ze has nothing to worry about other than enjoying life on Blue Star. In the starry sky, a fleet consisting of 100 destroyers and a Prism-class battlefield monitoring ship is sailing in the dimension space at extremely high speed. Once close to the detected usable solid planet, whether it is a dead star or a living planet, the fleet will slow down to conduct reconnaissance and recording. Such days are undoubtedly very monotonous and boring, and the time has lasted for more than a year. However, the biochemical soldiers on these battleships still did not slack off, just like machines, completing the tasks assigned by the commanders precisely and meticulously. Beep. The sirens sounded when abnormal fluctuations were detected. The biochemical soldiers in charge of monitoring immediately focused on finding the source of the anomaly. In fact, there are many such daily alarms, such as the discovery of planets, space folds, temporary wormholes, dimensional storms, etc. Many situations will issue such alarms. But the biochemical soldiers would not let any of them go. This time, their hard work paid off. Discover abnormal spatial fluctuations, analyze the source of 28-dimensional navigation, and the navigation speed is 4,000 light-years per day to judge the level of civilization level 6. Report immediately. A piece of information almost ignored the space distance and arrived at the command center in the interstellar world in an instant. A few minutes later, Meng Ze entered the star world. Xiaoka, what's the situation? Commander, the fleet that was sent out to conduct reconnaissance in the BCY galaxy found traces of large-scale civilized warships. There is a 6th-level civilization in the Milky Way? Meng Ze was taken aback for a moment. He had long regarded the Milky Way as his territory, but now he discovered that there are other 6th-level civilizations. What's the situation now? Meng Ze asked. The opponent is still within the detection range of the Prism-class battlefield monitoring ship, and it seems that we have not been spotted. Xiaoka said. Catch up, the other party's situation. Meng Shi ordered. Following Meng Ze's order, Meng Ze's small fleet in the starry sky began to change course and fly towards the target. Aisha, we seem to have been discovered. This is a small team with only 3 warships. Because of his outstanding mental ability, Schaefertru is responsible for presiding over the investigation mission of this small team. At this time, there was nothing on the screen of the battleship, but Schaefertru's keen intuition told him that the fleet on his side was under surveillance. Schaefertru, can you tell the opponent's position? Aisha is the leader of this small team, and he has no doubts in Schaefertru's judgment, which is the talent of their Protoss. Can't tell? Schaefertru shook his head. This is troublesome. Aisha frowned. He didn't know the reason why the leader suddenly ordered more than a year ago and arranged many investigation teams to go to the cantilever of the galaxy to conduct investigations. Due to the lack of resources of the Protoss, there are not many dedicated scout ships that can be dispatched. So many teams are operated by small warships alone, and their perception ability is naturally much worse than that of dedicated scout ships. Not only that, but because of the collapse of the Protoss civilization, for hundreds of years, the technical ability has not advanced but retreated. Although it is still at the level of a 6th-level civilization, compared with the current Imperial Federation, the gap between the two sides has widened not a lot. This is why it was detected by Meng Ze's fleet at this time, but Aisha's squadron did not find anything. The other party is approaching. Schaefertru's premonition became more and more obvious. Wait, the opponent's ship is stronger than ours, and we can't escape at all, Aisha said helplessly. Soon, the two sides approached to a distance of 10 light-years. Protoss. At this distance, the Prism-class battlefield monitoring ship can already detect the image of the opponent's warship. Although the battleship is relatively small, Meng Ze, who already knows a lot about the Protoss, can distinguish the Protoss at a glance. Close to this extent, the Protoss squad also detected the location and number of Meng Ze's fleet. But the results of the investigation were pretty bad. Aisha and Schaefertru looked at each other, and they both saw despair in each other's eyes. Notify other scouting fleets that we have encountered a level 6 civilization fleet with 101 ships of unknown type and unknown source. Gathering up his mind, Aisha ordered. Seeing that the information was sent out, Aisha breathed a sigh of relief. In this way, other fleets and leaders of the Protoss clan will receive the news, and they will naturally take certain precautions. Aisha, what should I do if the other party is using the normal frequency to communicate? Schaefertru saw the sign that suddenly appeared on the console of the battleship. Come on, let's see the other party's purpose first. Think about it for a while, Aisha said. Unknown civilization fleet. You have entered the control area of the galaxy fleet. Now our ship is ordered to verify your side. Please report your identity and purpose of passage immediately, otherwise, it will be regarded as a hostile act. The information is sent by a universal code, and the above-mentioned words appear after translation. Galaxy fleet? Haven't heard of it at all. Aisha and Schaefertru both showed puzzled eyes. Generally, only the name of the fleet is reported, which means that this fleet is also well known in civilization. But Aisha and Shaftalu have never heard of a 6th-level civilization with a famous fleet called the Galaxy Fleet. But now I don't dare to ask. I am already the fish on the plan board. As long as the other party is willing, I can solve my side at any time. Seeing Schaefertru look over, Aisha thought for a while and said, "The other party doesn't seem to know us, so they will reply according to the preset plan." "It is good." Schaefer nodded and then arranged for a message reply. On Meng Ze's side, he almost laughed when he saw the message sent to Feng 107. "Otero civilization? You're such a coward. I know you're a Protoss even when you turn into ashes. If that's the case, don't blame me for being rude. Xiaoka, let them go and destroy them if they are found again. Meng Ze doesn't want to startle the snake yet." "As you order, Commander." In addition, since the Protoss are in the Milky Way, I will send another 1 million squadrons to increase my search efforts and find them. Just as the order was about to be issued, AKA spoke suddenly. "Meng Ze, don't be so troublesome. Since the opponent's warships are here, you can directly use information backtracking to find their source." AKA, have you been able to do this now? Meng Ze asked in surprise and joy. Of course, such a simple thing can't be done. So how can it be against the anti-civilization? Then can you just wipe out the Protoss? Meng Ze asked curiously. Meng Ze, this kind of thing has to be done by myself. As a creature with an 8th level civilization, it is impossible for me to do this kind of thing. Although Akka spoke in a serious manner, Meng Ze could clearly sense a guilty conscience from it. The star map of the Protoss? I suddenly felt that it would be better for you to find it yourself, since you are idle anyway, AKA said. Meng Ze suddenly felt that he was really owed.
Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe.